Welcome back to another We Ourselves video. Today I want to talk about something that came to my mind and my attention while watching reviews and reactions for Loki Season 2. Because the next Marvel property after the conclusion of the Loki Season 2 series is The Marvels. And I feared that this movie, The Marvels, wouldn't have anything to do with the events of the Loki series. Let's be honest, Marvel has recently done that type of thing. And so, I just want to talk today about this. Should Marvel fans have faith in Kevin Feige, because we're gonna finally see how brilliantly Marvel had all of this planned out. Now, right off the bat, I just want to say that I disagree with the notion that fans who were complaining about the lack of connectivity between Marvel properties, i.e. the movies and the TV shows, are showing a lack of patience and faith that Marvel will bring it all together again like they did with Infinity War and Endgame. I think fans are justified in displaying a healthy dose of skepticism. Marvel has consistently dropped the ball with the film and TV shows in the recent years. Yet, we are asked as fans of the MCU to hold out faith and just wait and see, and we're gonna be rewarded for that faith in the process. Even though we can see the cracks in the system as well as the problems and the inconsistencies. And I find this idea of blind faith a little troubling, considering that we have the first 3 phases as an actual concrete example of how successfully Marvel did things. What Marvel Studio was able to do and achieve was unprecedented. They set the model that every other studio has tried to copy. So when Marvel said they were going to do the same thing, only instead of lasting 10 years, they were going to achieve the same thing in just 5 years. Now, if any studio should be able to achieve this, it would be Marvel Studios. Of course, everything got thrown out of track in 2020 with the pandemic, but even given that, if Marvel had planned ahead like it did in the first 3 phases of the MCU, they should have been okay. But what we got was a disconnected series of TV shows and movies. We are introduced to He Who Remains, a variant of our next big villain, Kang the Conqueror, in the Loki Season 1. But we don't get any more references to this villain until we get to Ant-Man and the Wasp series. And even though we have that character reappear in a different form or variant in that movie, not only wasn't he the main focus of the movie, but there was no real connection or tie back to the Loki series. Now we have Season 2 of Loki that doesn't address anything that happened in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The only 2 Marvel properties with this new big villain, one being a TV show and the other a theatrical release, neither of these properties make direct connections to each other. Yes, we have a variant of Kang, but neither of these properties seem to be tied together in any other way. The last thing we expected, after giving 10 to 11 years of connected properties, was for that studio that pioneered that to success to go and do something totally different. Let's take Apple for an example. One of the things that has made Apple products so successful is the Apple ecosystem. No matter what Apple device you buy, all of these things work seamlessly together. Now let's say for some reason, Apple decides that with their new lines of laptops, they're not going to be connected in their ecosystem anymore. And then what if Apple decided to roll out its new iPads and they weren't connected either? Suddenly, the ecosystem that you've come to expect and love, in which everything just worked together and was connected, is now gone. Can you imagine how damaging that would be to Apple's brand? It's hard to imagine that Apple would ever do anything that stupid. And to be honest, they never would, because they're a $2 trillion company and they didn't get there by suddenly abandoning a winning strategy. Yet, that's exactly what Marvel Studios did with its production process. For whatever reason, they took a winning 10-year strategy, told us they were going to reduce it down to 5 years, and they totally abandoned the way they have been doing things in the past. For example, the Eternals movie ended with a huge celestial partially emerging from the Earth's interior. Not only would this have generated massive tidal waves and earthquakes, and possibly adjusted the Earth's polarity, nothing about this mega event is mentioned in any of the subsequent Marvel shows and films. The She-Hulk show had an Easter egg about the event that required a team to go frame by frame and decipher the image. But for the characters in the series, this literal earth-shaking event meant nothing. This is the opposite of Sony's Across the Spider-Verse approach, where Miguel O'Hara mentions the events from Spider-Man No Way Home. He's not looking at his monitor and there's a brief image of an online article about the strange happenings on Earth 199999. No, he mentions it in the context of the current scene because that event in another Marvel Sony property means something to him. This is how you connect your IPs. In another example, actress Elizabeth Olsen complained that the writer of Multiverse of Madness didn't seem to know about her character's development in the WandaVision show. Also, her kids in the show were the results of her chaos magic. Yet in the movie, she has kids, but it's not explained how. Also, in the show, the kids develop their comic book powers, yet the kids in the movie seem normal. In fact, we're not sure if that version of Wanda even has powers until after the Illuminati Council attack. The same brand, the same wrappings, but different unconnected versions. That has been Marvel's approach to Phase 4. The IPs don't really connect, but somehow they're all supposed to just work together. It's for this reason and other reasons that I truly believe that Kevin Feige hasn't been calling the shots for at least the last 2 or 3 years. This is where the production process went off the rails, and with the firing of the Daredevil showrunner in the writer's room, I think Kevin Feige and his people are back in charge. Maybe we'll see some real changes to the MCU. It's hopeful that they will get back to their winning strategy and get things back on track. But the question remains, should MCU fans have faith? In my opinion, we can be hopeful, we can be guardedly optimistic, but to have unwavering faith that Marvel has it all planned out and they know what they're doing? No, because they've already shown that they didn't know what they were doing, and in some cases, they displayed open contempt for what came before. Guarded optimism is fine, but faith in them to do the right thing? No, they have to prove themselves to us all over again, unfortunately. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. Let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.